Hi, this is Bianca, your PAC 22 treasurer, here with the financial summary for the 23-24 program year. I'm going to go over a little bit about the scouting program and what it takes to run the scouting program from a financial standpoint. This is in conjunction with Emily's PowerPoint about popcorn so that scouts can earn their own way in the program. So whenever you think about the cost of the program, I want to go over the benefits of the Cub Scout program a little bit before that so that you understand that we're not just paying for belt loops and we're not just paying for Pinewood Derby cars. It's an overall program. The aims of scouting are character, citizenship, personal fitness, and leadership. So all values that we want to instill in our children. And the Scout motto is do your best. So no matter how difficult the challenge is, at least you make a try. You might learn something fun and new, and it would be a rewarding experience for our kids. There are a lot of activities that we participate in, games, projects, camping, trips, service projects, and these are all opportunities for growth and achievement, but also involvement of family members. We do focus on outdoor adventures a lot with camping, and this is another opportunity for our kids to try new things and to build self-confidence, but also develop leadership skills. Part of the program is also the uniform, and so that is something that, looking similar, demonstrates that a scout is part of a team, but they are able to show their individual achievements with those belt loops and badges. Throughout the program, I am going to differentiate between required fees and optional activities and fees. So the required fees are for every scout in the program, whether they're new or returning, and include national fees, council fees, and PAC fees. The PAC fees are the only thing that we have control over. Optional fees may include things like PAC camping trips, which we do 3 to 4 per year, supplies such as uniforms or mess kits for that camping trip, and then district and council activities, things like summer camp that isn't put on by the PAC or Cub Fun Day. The required fees, that is something that every family has to pay to participate in the scouting program. The optional fees, you can do all, you can do none, somewhere in between. Each family can pick and choose what's best for them. So you might be thinking, how do I meet this obligation of these fees or pay for these optional activities? You have two options. So you can do the buyout option, which is essentially just paying outright in cash, credit, or check for all of the fees and all of the activities that you participate in. That is obviously lower effort, but a higher direct cost from your pocket. You're only paying for the events you participate in, such as camping. So for instance, camping trips typically cost $30 per scout and adult, caring adult. And so whenever it comes time for a camp out, if you decide to participate in that, we would require you to pay $30 at that time. If you decide to fundraise later, then you can get reimbursed for any of these fees. And so if you say, I'm going to pay my buyout for my fees of $260. I'm not sure if I'm going to fundraise, but in the spring, the pepperoni rolls, you have time for that, and you do that, you can get reimbursed for any of the fees or activities that you paid outright for. That comes from the PAC paid directly to you. Your other option is to try to pay for everything through fundraising. That is higher effort, but lower direct cost. This way, you can build up a fund in your Scout's personal account to pay for your events. So if your Scout participates in popcorn sales here in the month of October, and they really knock it out of the park, then they can have a surplus in their own personal account with the PAC. We keep track of each individual's account balance. And so if they have a surplus and it's time for that camping trip, then you can use that surplus in their account to pay for the camping trip without having to pay anything out of pocket. There are multiple options throughout the year, such as the popcorn sales, leaf raking, and then, like I said, pepperoni rolls in the springtime. If you earn enough, you can get reimbursed for national fees as well. A lot of families will do a combination of these two things. They will do some popcorn fundraising, and whatever isn't covered by the popcorn, they will pay the rest in the buyout. It's whatever works for each individual family, and we will help you with anything that you need to figure these things out. The PAC also sponsors financial aid for any family that, even with fundraising, if they cannot make the goal of paying for all of the activities that they want to participate in, there is scholarship available for those families. All this talk about how to earn the money, how much are you paying? So the required fees, so this is the base cost without any additional activities for one cub that is returning is $225, and one that is new is $260. It is a little bit higher because there are some one-time onboarding fees for new scouts to get them all set up in the program. This covers those required national, council, and PAC fees. Anything above this is optional, and you can pick and choose whatever you participate. This is the absolute bare minimum that is required for any child to participate in our scouting troop PAC. As I mentioned briefly before, the PAC fees are the only thing that we have control over. The national fee and the council fee are set, and we do not have any input or ability to adjust those fees. So for the PAC fee that we set, what does that pay for? That's your weekly meeting activities. Reserving Bird Park so that we can meet at the fire ring. It's advancements in belt loops and patches. And so every time your cub completes an adventure, they get a belt loop, and that's part of that uniform where they can show off their accomplishments. Each cub gets a Pinewood Derby car and registration to the PAC Pinewood Derby in January. Also for Blue and Gold Banquet, the scout and 2 adults are invited without any fees for that. We do model rockets with a rocket launch in April, and so the rockets are covered by the PAC fees. And then there's also PAC graduation as a cookout, again for a scout and 2 adults in June. We also have some communal camping supplies, so when the PAC goes camping, we need things like propane and utensils and foil and everything to be able to camp. There's also our annual unit charter fee. Again, that is something that we have to pay as a PAC to the National Scout VSA to continue being our own individual PAC 22. And then the adult leader fees. So the adults that are running the PAC, the den leaders, the committee chairs, they are all donating their time. There is a cost, however, for those adults to be registered leaders with Scouts BSA, and so those fees are divided amongst all of the participants. This is some more information about the national and council fees, and this is a handout that was created by the Laurel Highlands Council, to which we belong. These are part of those required fees. These are part of that $225 for returning scouts and $260 for new scouts. So these fees need to be paid directly to BSA. You can only do an online payment. This is the first year that they are launching this program. In the past, if you're a returning member, you would have paid those fees to us, and we pass on these fees to National and Laurel Highlands Council, but they are doing all online direct fees now. New members will in the future renew in 2024 on the anniversary of their joining. So if you officially sign up for Scouts in the month of October, from then on out, your renewal online will be in the month of October. For any returning members, it will renew in December of 2023. And then again, from there on out, it'll be every year in December. Again, we have no control over these portion of the fees, and you will see that this is the majority of the fees that we do have to pay for every single Scout to participate in the program. Here's a representation for the required fees for a new Scout that is joining PAC 22. So as I said, you can see on the figure on the left, this is the cash buyout. You are going to pay, you decided, directly in cash and maybe fundraise later for the PAC fees. It would be $260. 158 of those dollars are going to the national and council fees that we have no control over. $102 are the PAC fees that pay for all of that programming, the weekly meetings, the Pinewood Derby, the picnics, the Blue and Gold banquet. If you said, I would like to try to fundraise through popcorn, through leaf raking, through pepperoni roll sales, to cover the entire cost of my required fees, to cover my entire total of $260. The average commission is 33 to 35%, and so it's basically 3 times the cash amount. So that would be for a new Scout earning $788 of popcorn money. And so if you sold $788 worth of popcorn, you would completely cover all of the fees for both the PAC, Council, and National. How is that different for a returning Scout? So the total for that one, as I said before, is $225 if you pay in cash. It is slightly cheaper because of those startup costs for the new Scouts. So the $225, if you were to completely fundraise that, you would need to sell $682 worth of popcorn or pepperoni rolls or leaf raking. I'd like to show you now some of the optional costs. I want to stress again that these are completely optional. Your family does not have to participate in any of them. They can participate in as many or as few as they want. Just wanted you to get a sense of what those costs might be if you really max out the entire Cub Scouting program. So let's say that you wanted to buy supplies, which might be a uniform, a full uniform with the shirt, the pants, the belt, the hat, the neckerchief, and the neckerchief slide that goes on it. You're going to get your lion book or your tiger book with all of your adventures in it, and you're going to also get a mess kit to go camping. So supplies would be about $169 in cash. The PAC camping trips, about $30 for each Scout with one carrying adult for 3 trips is $90. The majority of the optional costs are going to be the council camps. So summer camp and winter camp, those are going to be the most expensive. Those are camps where everything is included in the cost. It is multiple days long and has a lot of programming, and it's going to be a larger, more involved camp. So if you completely maxed out the scouting program and decided to participate in all of these activities, it would be around $850. If you were trying to fundraise the entire cost of all of these optional adventures, it would be $2,587. That does sound like a big number, but again, all of these things are optional. You absolutely do not have to participate in anything that does not something that your family would like to do. I just wanted to reiterate again that the fees are really the only required cost associated with participating in the Cub Scout program in PAC 22. So the last numbers you saw were very big numbers. Again, all optional. These are the numbers that are required for a new scout on the left and a returning scout on the right. So if you're a new scout, if you're going to do the buyout, all in cash, card, or check, it would be $260 or $788 worth of fundraising. If you're a returning scout, it would be $225 or $682 worth of fundraising. As I said before, like you can see, our PAC fees, which are the only thing that we have control over, is not the majority of the cost here. We do really try to put on a high quality program while minimizing the cost as much as possible. However, the council and national fees are not something that we have any control over. If you participate in fundraising and your family still needs financial aid to meet these fees or any additional adventures, please contact one of us. Like I said before, we have funds available for that so that kids can participate in all of the activities that they want to do. So I threw out a lot of numbers at you, and some of those numbers were very big. I wanted to reiterate again that Cub Scouts really provides a high quality longitudinal program. So Cub Scouts encompasses for the PAC about 9 months out of the year. Families can choose their level of participation and therefore their level of financial commitment, with that $260 for new families being the minimum contribution. We do have a lot of opportunities for fundraising to offset these costs, and the fundraising efforts are already underway. That's where Emily's presentation again about popcorn comes in, talking about that fundraising there. And then once again, financial assistance is available for any family who needs it. As a comparison, just wanted to show you the different costs of other programs that kids might participate in within the Mount Lebanon community or school district. Most of them have fees that are significantly higher than Cub Scouts and meet for fewer months out of the year. And so even though some of the numbers for things like summer camp, winter camp are on the higher side, the base fees of $260 for your PAC national and council dues really are reasonable and in line, if not much lower, compared to other activities within the community. So let's say that you have decided that you really want to maximize your fundraising to try to offset these costs. So Scouts earn approximately 33% of commission on their sales. So if you sell $100 in popcorn, you would earn $33 to spend on camping, on your PAC fees, on even getting reimbursed for uniform costs from the Scout shop. For more information about the commission on the popcorn in particular, you can see Emily's PowerPoint. So the amount earned, so that $33 goes into each Scout's individual fund. So I maintain a fund for every single Scout that is in the PAC to keep track of how much they have earned or paid for the buyout. You can always combine the fundraising and buyout, so it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And as Emily mentioned in her presentation, for the popcorn in particular, Scouts earn an average of $80 per hour when they do storefront sales. Wagon sales are going to be different and variable based on your effort, but the storefront sales, it's about $80 an hour. We will, of course, average that over all of the sales, over all of the Scouts for the entire season, so that if somebody has a really rainy, cold day, that they're not being penalized for the weather being bad. What might it look like if you have a new Scout coming in who is going to be incurring some costs and wants to do some fundraising to offset those costs. So we're going to say Sam is a new scout. His family will need to pay $158 online to BSA. That is that national fee and council fee, again, paid directly to them that we have no control over. You can, however, get reimbursed for that if you fundraise enough. So Sam is going to owe the PAC $102 for PAC dues. He also wants to purchase a shirt and a belt, a lion book from the Scout shop, and attend one PAC campout. And so his total costs for the year in scouting would be $364. So he can either pay that outright in a buyout or try to fundraise to offset those costs. If he tries to do some fundraising, he would need to raise $1,103 or sell $1,103 of popcorn or pepperoni rolls to cover those costs entirely, assuming a 33% commission, which is about the average. So if Sam does not earn $1,100 in popcorn, the rest would remain an out-of-pocket cost for his family. Sam's parents signed him up for 4 2-hour shifts of selling popcorn outside Rollers, and each scout earned $160 per 2-hour shift. So they sold $160 worth of popcorn. Sam earned $640 in popcorn money to his account for the popcorn fundraiser over those 8 hours, the 4 2-hour shifts. So his initial requirement of fundraising was $1,103. He has earned $640, which means that he has a fundraising deficit of $463. That's how much more popcorn he would have needed to sell to completely cover his fees. His family decides that they're not going to participate in the spring fundraisers because they have other activities that are keeping them busy. So to calculate how much is still owed for his buyout, because he didn't meet his goal of $1,103 of popcorn sales, we convert his popcorn sales back to cash. So his $640 worth of popcorn sales are equivalent to $211 in cash. So his original total for his fees, his uniform, his book, and for the one camping trip was $364. If you take the $211 of cash that he earned via popcorn sales, he's left with $153. So $153 of buyout is still required to be paid in cash, check, or credit. That was a lot of information and a lot of numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody has a lot of questions after that, or questions about their own particular case, or if you're interested in the scholarship, the additional funds that we can provide to families for the required fees, please reach out to me. There is my email address. It is just my first name, last name at gmail.com. And then my cell phone number that you can get a hold of me. So if you have any questions at all about the fees, how they're calculated, the fundraising, what is optional, what is required, anything at all, please reach out to me at any time, and I'd be happy to answer these questions.